Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you all have an amazing day. We're starting off with the black pieces against a 2039 from Morocco. We've got E4, so we're going into a modern. And we'll try the rat. Why not? Why not? I'm feeling fun today. They decide to push, which I've noticed has become increasingly rare. People do not want to push, and even more people do not want to play Bishop E2, which goes into the fun gambit line. If they are pushing, they're more likely to play like a G4 or an F4 as well. And at that point, we just retreat our knight to G7, and then we play H5. Either getting them to take, which weakens their H-pawn, or they push, which weakens this F5 square, which is going to be our new target, basically. Very fun. I think we go ahead and play D5 here. They could take en passant. I don't know what we do if they take en passant, to be honest. We probably take with the queen, right? We probably take with the queen. We could take with either of the pawns, but I really want a strong pawn chain. That's the whole purpose of getting this F5 square, is that this is so strong, they can't really contend it. So yeah. We could go Bishop G4. I actually don't mind that. It sort of forces them to do something, basically. And I would happily trade off the light squared bishop. And the reason I would happily trade off the light squared bishop is because our sort of key focus for this game is to sit on F5, basically, which is a light square. So not only have we got rid of our bad bishop, because we want to lock up with E6, but we've got rid of one of their pieces that can attack our strong knight on F5. So we'll go E6, lock up this pawn chain, completely lock down F5. We can think about pushing. In fact, I don't see why we can't push. And then go knight C6. If they decide to take, I just don't think that's particularly good. They've got Rook H3 is strange. I'm not really sure what the point of it is. Maybe you're just trying to work the Rook around. But I'm just castling kingside. And you don't really have any attack because your pawns are just in the way. And I have basically all the breaks, as well as this nice little spot on F5 as well. They do have F6, but realistically, they can't get to that unless they come around here, which is highly unlikely. They're just not really going to be able to get to F6. Whereas our F5 is one move away, basically. So I'm happy with this position. I'm pretty sure, not that I know much theory, but this is a theoretical sort of position. You know, it's a bit textbook. So happy, I think. I'm not going to take this in a million years. If anything, I probably want to lock it up a bit. Maybe, or just leave it there, because if they take, we get our bishop out with tempo, which I'm happy about. Yeah. The thing is, if I take, they get their knight out, and then they're contesting F5 again, which isn't a problem, because we're getting this other knight in as well. So yeah, we have to be a bit wary of the light squares now. And they're looking to take. I think Queen C6 works. There is a fork. We could push. Pushing's going to be a bit of a slower game. Are we really fighting for a win if we push? I don't know. I don't think so. There are still chances for sure, but I just don't see anything happening. You know, we do have this square, but they can do things about that. It's not the end of the game. If we take, like I said, we're just giving them chances to get their pieces in the game. We can throw in Queen B6, but against two minor pieces and a pawn, we're not actually threatening to take anything afterwards. All they have to do is play like a Queen D2, and they're pretty solid. So I think now we go knight F5. I think now we go knight f5. If they take now, we can think about taking. And then we do get the bishop out. So I think that works. If they go queen b3, which is tempting, we'll probably match it with a queen b6. Look to get the queens off the board, potentially. Could work in our favour, especially if they take for us. I don't think either of us really want to take the queens, because then you'll be taking with the pawn and opening up the rook, whoever does it. And I think that would give that player the advantage. Yeah, they drop back with the bishop, which is smart. We can think about now a queen b6. Because that does sort of ask for some trades off. Queen b6, queen d2, takes, pawn takes. That does sort of ask for some trade off, and I think that might work in our favour. Especially if we do takes, because then we might have a check as well, which could be nice. Could be nice. And you see now the power of these knights. You know, we're making all the pressure and they're still sort of underdeveloped. Yeah, queen d2, like we suspected. And we can actually take this. Takes, pawn takes, check. It forces the knight over to there. And then maybe think about a rook c8. Maybe think about a rook c8. They're not going to castle. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. We're getting our last pieces developed. And everything's sort of working out. Everything's sort of working out, I hope, anyway. We'll get castled. Yeah, there's no way they castle queenside. They can't castle kingside. We could go queen a5. Queen a5 is a thing we could do. What's the point though? Like, they're defending with the knight. We can only take once no matter what, because they have the pawn as well. Maybe we just go back. Maybe we just go back. We could take. Taking I don't like. I want to keep this dark squared bishop. Because they have dark squared pawns, I probably want to keep that. Although switching out for a knight could be nice. Could be nice. Because their knight's realistically the only thing that can hit our pawns, but also our pawns are well defended anyway, so... yeah, I think we drop back the bishop. I think we drop back the bishop. If we go there, we could incite this. Maybe do like a knight takes, but I don't think that gets us anywhere. So we drop in the back the bishop. I'm a bit hesitant to drop it back to this square, but I think it's our only choice, because that's where our sort of knights want to go to get to this f5 square. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of b5. Am I scared of the a pawns coming in potentially? Let's get this rook to c8. I think is the better choice than the a rook, simply because these aren't going anywhere. Yep, I think that's fine still. I think that's fine still. We could go a6. Is possible. It's definitely the more active choice. We could also go b5. b5. b5, they probably go rook there. Actually, no, they have to do something with the knight. So knight there takes, pawn takes is annoying. Is really annoying, actually. Letting the knight in there maybe was a mistake. We could... no, we can't take that. There's no way we can take that. We could take that. We could take that. Because oh, actually, queen takes is a move there. Oh no, but then just queen takes, queen takes. So it's 2 pawns. It's 2 pawns for the piece. I feel like we've tried that before and it didn't work out very well. It's very tempting though. It's very tempting. Bishop takes. If pawn takes, then queen takes. If knight takes, then we take with check is the key. Then king takes, and then this pawn takes. Yeah. It's tempting. It's so tempting. Is really, really tempting. I think we have to go here though. But the problem is, actually no, we could go back to c7. Then we're sort of playing drawish, you know. We're playing drawish, and it's not the most fun. I think this is the sensible move, and I want to win. I want to win. Yeah, we go c7 and we play b6. Not ideal at all. We are walking into some pins potentially, but they can't actually do anything yet, so we have time to get b6 in. Oh, they go there. They go there. I think playing b6 is more important. We let the knight in here. What's it actually hitting? Nothing. So we'll play b6. The knight's not actually doing anything getting into b5, and we still have the opportunity to play a6 as well. So I'm not worried about that. a6 though, they have pawn push. This is such a cool position. I love this so much. I really do. We could be looking for an a5. Get the rook out. It could be nice. It could be nice, but we might also need our rooks on the back rank in case they decide to double up the rooks, which they decided not to do for some reason. That seems like the obvious move to me. And maybe now I'm more tempted to have gone for the piece sack for 2 pawns. These pawns are pretty dangerous. They do roll up the board quick, but I think their pieces are also in a good position to defend those pawns as well. So we'll see what the computer says afterwards. I'll try and make a point of remembering. But yeah, 2 minutes on the clock. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time at all. I would have liked a lot more. But there are some things you cannot control. And one of those, well, you can actually control the time. I just don't. I clearly just don't control my time. They go knight back, looking for just the rooks in, I guess. Yeah, we'll play queen b7. Is fine. Yeah, queen b7's fine. We could play a5 here. Isn't insane. With knight takes. Then you get a knight up there, and it's actually quite nice. The problem is if they push. Oh, if they push, yeah, the problem is if they push. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Why not? Why not? I'm in a fun mood. I am in a fun mood. We have potential knight a7 now, which targets this weak pawn. They might actually find that really hard to defend. Because we get the queen then on b7. They have to go here and here. And they do defend it, but they block out their rooks in the process, I think. And maybe then this pawn becomes a bit weak, this A pawn. Actually, no, they can just push. No, but they push A4 though. Then they leave the outpost on B4. Could work. Could work. Yeah, and we can still maneuver this knight out of this mess. It would take a while, but we still can. We've got a minute on the clock. We spent a whole minute on that move. That's not good. That's really not good. We'll do knight takes pre-move. There is the obvious fork there as well on the queen and rook. Actually, no, there isn't, because the rook covers. Oh, gosh. That's actually a surprisingly well-placed rook. I don't mind that at all. It's quite flexible. And you don't really need to castle because my hopes of infiltration are not that good. They decide to push. We will go back, sort of forcing knight there. If they go rook out, we just move to probably d7. Yeah, probably d7. And then we're hitting this, and they have to go one of the knights over. Probably this one, so then you can push a4. And we're just sort of playing for the open file. This knight's still here, if they ever lose sight of that. Which is good, but I think we might be playing for a draw here. Actually, we can't go to d7 because this knight is covering b6, which is unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. It's saying they've disconnected. Please don't. I want to play this out. I really want to play this out. Don't. No. No. Oh, I want to see what happens. I mean, I'll take the 3 points, but I would rather see what happens, to be honest. No. 5, 2, 1. No. No. Oh. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Yeah. I really wanted to see where that was going as well. I really, really wanted to see where that was going. I think we missed our chance a bit. Maybe locked it up a bit too much. The accuracy. 71.1 for our opponent, 81.7 for us, 1950, 2100. Yeah, towards the end, we slipped up and it was a bit more drawish. But we had the better position through the entirety of that, I think. Yeah. Knight h5. So I'll go over quickly. Bishop e2 goes into the fun line where you play d6. Very crazy stuff. You have any move, basically. Knight c3 is a move. Knight f3 is a move. g4 is a move. f4 also a move. Yeah, you have a lot of stuff. Bishop probably anywhere also a move. And yeah, but they chose this one. And then h4 straight away, which isn't recommended. h5 is good. And then if they take, this is just sort of weak forever. You've got a nice square for the knight. And it's just nice. It's just nice, I think. They push, like we said, you've got this spot on f5. Apparently this is a miss. You just go f5 straight away. Which doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest. Oh, maybe you're looking to take with the knight. You take with the pawn. I don't really understand why it's asking us to go there first. Bishop g4, yeah. And we traded off the dark squared bishop. Light squared bishop, sorry. I don't see why it's not wanting us to trade off, because I don't want to damage this beautiful pawn structure. Because queen takes straight away, I guess knight f5. No. It's wanting c5. I just don't see it. I just don't see the compensation here. It's very similar. Maybe you drag the queen away from the queen side. I'm not really sure, but this is giving a significant advantage of minus 1.5 for black, which is significant. We decided to take based on us having the light squared pawn structure. We want to push e6 and lock this up. So we could keep the light squared bishop there for sure. But we don't want to risk them having the chance to take, which I think they would do. Because to me it looks like a decent idea. So I don't see why they would have that problem either. At the end of the day, we're not computers. We push c5, they push c3, get developed pretty like almost French structure. And you'll find that a lot with the Norwegian Rat as well. It's either a French or a Caracal structure. Advanced sort of stuff. Not advanced. It's advanced where they push the pawn. And you're fighting for this pawn a lot of the time. Apparently we take this. And then maybe we just put pressure on the c pawn. I don't like the idea of giving their knight too much stuff to work with, though. I don't know. We decide to go here because if they decide to take, we can take this. And after rook takes, bishop takes, you can reroute this knight back to f5 here. And I think you've just got a nice-ish position. Maybe they push this. No, they push this. Then that. Ah, with the threats. Threat of that, maybe. Yeah, that doesn't look particularly nice. Particularly nice at all, really. I don't like that. Yeah. No. Not appealing to me. Not appealing. You go king f8. Because if takes, then you have not takes. You have that. Wowza. That's insane. Oh, you go there with the threat of check. No, not even check. Wow, king f7, f8, and then you go g7 and castle manually. That's insane. Wow. Queen b6 sort of hitting the pawn again. Takes, forced to trade off. Bishop b4 is nice. And I'm feeling really happy. And the computer agrees. This is minus 2.1. So almost a full piece. Castles loses some slack. Apparently we go here. Oh, and then you've got the fork, so they can't push a3. And this is something I should be aware of because it's a line I've been playing in the King's Indian, now that I've studied a bit more of the King's Indian. A5 is actually a pretty flexible square for the knight to go to. And it's not as dangerous as it looks. Yeah, so what's the move for them here? They go queen c2, but then like a rook c8 looks nice. And they no longer have the fork here. You probably take, yeah. Knight takes. Oh, rook takes. Yeah, I like rook takes. Takes, queen takes castles. And they offer a trade of queens. Yeah, and you can't take this because you actually lose a pawn after b5, which is really nice. That's really nice tactics. I was so tempted to sack the things here. Apparently that's best. And again, knight a5 is a huge idea. We retreat. And I was very tempted here to do knight takes. Was it knight takes or bishop takes? When was the sack? Oh, it was retreating back here. I wanted to go back here. I thought looked really, really interesting. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. We get some form of counterplay, maybe. And it's saying you're actually playing for a draw, which is crazy. Oh, you've got queen a2. That's so nice. That's really, really nice. If takes you, knight takes, and the knight covers the queen again. Wow. That's beautiful. That's so nice. Honestly, that's so nice. Yeah. Wow. That's a really nice move. Apparently you go rook c4 and you just keep attacking that. They just fixed the pin though. You don't have enough pieces to actually attack. Yeah. And you can claim you've got two passes, connected passes, but your pieces are all in front of them, so it's going to be hard to push for now. We decide to go back, which loses a bit of our advantage, but still a good position apparently. And then, what was I considering here? I was considering a b5. Oh, I was considering knight takes here. Oh no, bishop takes. Was it bishop takes? Bishop takes here. Goes back to slightly better for white. Oh. Then you go queen takes. And this is winning. Oh, because they have rook here. Ah. No, but rook here we have the fork. And that's got to be good. They've got to find king... What? They've got to find king d2? King d1, king d2, rook b1. Oh, you go rook there. And that breaks out of the pin at the same time as doing the tactic. Ah. It almost works. It almost works. It was a very tempting one. I had to use all my effort to not play that. Because I get an idea like that in my head. And it's it never works out well. But I've got to try. I've got to see, like, I can't not try it, you know? Anyway, moving on. Knight c3 is apparently a huge inaccuracy. Oh, we can take either of these pawns. Oh, we got to take this one. We just take this. No, you take this one then. What's the tactic? Queen d8. Oh no, because the knight's covered by this knight. Duh, gosh. Rook c b8 for some reason. I don't know why. I don't see why they didn't move this knight in here. It seems nice. You got a5 and undermine that and claim what are you actually doing on c5. If they take, you can take maybe them. Or take this. No, take that, you lose. The knight infiltrates, and then it does get to this annoying square. But you do undermine, and they can't really ignore that, because if you, like, take... say they do something weird. Then you've got a pin on this rook as well, which is undefended. So it's actually not that scary of a threat, which is really cool. Queen c7. The knight goes there. We play b6, which is correct, because this knight is more scary than this knight. The knight goes back, and then we played a5, which was a huge mistake, apparently. And again, the knight comes to c5, and again, you undermine it. And you can't do takes, queen takes, because the knight is covering that pawn. So they have to move the rook over, which looks scary. Then takes, pawn takes. And then bishop takes. Rook takes, probably queen b6, queen b7. But then that looks scary, but you're still claiming an advantage here for some reason. You could... you can't take this because of tactics. Check, takes, check, takes. Takes the knight, which is brutal. Yeah, that's crazy. b5, yeah. What do you do? How do you play this on? Oh, you play check. Knight blocks. Oh, the knight comes back here and defends the rook that way. Queen 8. Oh, and then you're not threatening anything there, though. You move to b8 and you let them infiltrate. I don't know how the computer can claim this is winning. I really don't understand how... This looks like it's dominating for white. At the end of the day, I guess they're playing down a piece. Because this bishop's can't actually go anywhere. It's completely blocked out. So we are sort of playing up a piece, which reflects in the evaluation, which is, say, minus 2.3. So if you class this bishop as a literal pawn, then it's about right evaluation, to be fair. So I guess it's saying once the rooks are all traded off, the knights are just going to dominate. Maybe that's what his claim is, but I don't really know. I honestly don't know. Anyway, b5 goes back to equality. Forces knight e7, sort of. I didn't really want to go anywhere else. And then I'm struggling how to sort of proceed here. You go knight c1, queen b8. The other rook can come in. Apparently that's... Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to take. And then, like, you go rook there instead of, like, the knight coming across. Oh, but then that's hanging. Oh, that's actually quite tricky to defend. You've got to go rook there. At which point you can infiltrate a bit. And then the knight comes across and defends everything quite nicely. And you're struggling at that point. It's slightly easier for black to play because we're the ones making threats. But at the end of the day, I think white can defend everything quite nicely. That's a nice move order, though. That's a really nice move order. It looks like by playing rook b3, the rook's still out of the game. But it's just to make room for the knight to come to c3. And then the rook isn't out the game permanently tied to the defense of the b pawn, like if you were to do this straight away. Not only are you cutting off this, but you're cutting off any connection the rook has to any of these squares on the queen side. And this sort of has to stay there as long as this knight stays there. And this knight's not really going anywhere. So, yeah, that's really clever. I like that a lot. Unfortunately, our opponent did disconnect, so he didn't get to play this out. I wonder if they would have found that sequence. Who knows? Who knows? But we got some points off it. 2026 currently at the minute. Our rating went up a bit because I think we got a fair play thing on one of the accounts we played, so we got some rating back. I'm not really sure how any of that works. But yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.